Okay, well then I'll scoot over.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Well, you see what you, well, it's,
We can-
I was expecting her, so.
I'm not sure what, but-
Well, then we can scoot that over maybe a little bit. Okay.
What do you think about the fire top? Fire top, whatever. I was happy. Long overdue.
Oh, there's Carrie Ann's here too. Good. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, isn't it? Hey, Carrie Ann.
Hi, Carrie Ann. Did you get her your bio? You stepping in now. It's nice. I actually played basketball in that shoes in middle school, like the shoes in middle school, like the actual, you know, like that was our team shoe.
Yeah.
I can remember when I was in grade school many, many years ago, where everybody wanted Converse also. They lasted a long time. Oh, they did.
Success on that, or just we'll just talk?
Yeah, we can maybe do that. But
You're on and everything, we're just trying to get the.
If the digital presentation will
it's a
come through
single slide,
today, it
so
is what it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right.
Welcome everybody. I'd like to open the March 5th Madison County Parks and Recreation Board meeting. Thank you all for being here. I guess we need to start with roll call. Should I?
No, we'll just go by our names. It's fine. Nancy Anderson, present.
Tom Bannon present.
Patty Hobbs present.
Ben Orcutt present. Rachel Christensen is unavailable today. We have an agenda. I guess I'll just start with a little opening statement. As most of the folks in the room probably know, Jessica Bastian is no longer the county engineer. That news arrived to us earlier this week. It was a surprise. Nothing we knew about ahead of time or could have planned for or anything like that. So to be totally transparent, we are working on figuring out how we are going to reorganize a little bit. You know, the agenda that we have here still lists her as our department director. And she was very willingly, generously doing that on our behalf, you know, with no additional compensation because she had been a county employee. So we have a few details to work through here in terms of exactly what's next. So we have had an agenda sort of ready for today's meeting. We definitely do not want to avoid any updates or skip anything. We want to just keep moving forward here. So we would like to see the updates that we have from Burgess and Iphone Avenue and Carrie Ann here. And then we are obviously going to be doing a little bit of regrouping before next meeting to understand exactly how things are going to go. But we don't intend to stop any business. You know, we're here to do parks. We want to see parks happen. We want to see this thing move forward, and we're going to do our best to that. So today's meeting will likely be a bit abbreviated. we want to not avoid any updates. We want to have the session that we're here to have that has been scheduled. I think that's all I really can say about it. Does that feel
Yeah,
adequate? Does anybody
sure.
else have any other information they want to?
Let's move on.
Okay, very good. So to the point of today's agenda, the next item is approval of the agenda. Specifically, we have a Thriving Communities Project update. As neither Rachel nor Jess are here, I would ask that maybe we remove that from the agenda. Anything else that anybody feels strong? And the minutes approval, we do not have minutes from February's meeting to read and approve in this moment, so we will push that off till next month.
I make a motion with those two changes that we approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
First and second, they're all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nope.
Thank you. Okay. So to that end, let's just move right forward here with old business. We can start with some outreach or website updates, and then, or however we want to go here. We want an update on the project, so however you folks want to present is fine with me.
Yes, I'm Carrie Ann Rich from Honest Digital. Just, I guess, a brief update. The website, as you guys know, launched last month. So at the time of our last board meeting, at that time, we did send out a press release to the local media and also to some community organizations, just so that we can start getting the word out. Just to reiterate, the point of that website is so that the community at large can have a landing spot to get all of the accurate information about the project, updates as we get those from the project team. The other thing that we want to continue to reiterate with the website is that there is an FAQ section on that site. And so as we have these meetings, as we've had attended other meetings, the permitting process and those meetings, we have heard questions and addressed some of those questions on those FAQs. So we will continue to do that. We also are hoping that we can continue to get the word out that if there are questions from community members, we would love for those to get submitted through that site, because that gives us a direct opportunity to receive those and provide clarification, information. Again, the whole purpose of the website is to promote and provide accurate information. So that's the website update. Community outreach, we are getting some traction with working some of our working with some of the local community organizations. So we are going to be attending some meetings and just sharing an update on the project. The whole purpose of that is, again, to share the information, get people excited about the whole vision and purpose of the parks. So we've gotten some traction there with Lions Club, Roadrunners of Anderson. We're actually, I don't know if Cheryl is here from White River Watchers, but we're going to attend one of their board meetings and kind of share and listen from their group. So some things like that are picking up. So that is our intent, to keep that momentum going and keep working with these organizations as we keep moving forward. And I think that is everything for now. Do you guys have any questions?
Thanks, Carrie Ann.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Carrie Ann.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, Jason Taylor with Burgess and Nyepel. Just wanted to give you guys an update on the project based off of last meeting. Apologize, the PowerPoint, we couldn't get it loaded up. It was a single slide, so you didn't really miss a ton. It was really just talking points at the end of the day. Really wanted to make sure that we hit on some of the follow-up questions or some of the questions that we had at the last meeting that were brought up. A few of them were related to, where we were on the plans at the time of last month. We weren't at 90% plans. We were still in the preliminary stages of it. And we have now submitted 90% plans to Avenue as well as to the county to be able to review and walk through in light of the changes that you mentioned before we're going to regroup and talk through some of those. But the other questions and comments that were brought up at the last meeting were related to the boat ramp and the length of the boat ramp, being that it was, in measuring it, it was approximately 350 foot. And the intent of that was to make sure that we were trying to be ADA compliant, although ADA compliant is not required as part of boat ramps. They're typically 8 to 15% slope, but we were trying to hit that. But hearing the feedback, the board said, you know what, let's shorten that up, make it more user friendly. So therefore we went back, we changed the alignment of that and shortened it up significantly to approximately 100 feet, but it is steeper, but it brings it closer to the river itself. I'm trying to make sure that I've got some of my notes here to that I don't miss anything. But then the FPPA, the farmland protection comment was one. We did research on that. We're moving forward. We're in compliance based off of everything that we know and we found. We've not heard anything back up the state otherwise, so we do feel confident that we're complying with all of the federal, state, local requirements of a standard project and the use of the ARPA funds. There may be some other minor comments that, or other comments that were talked about that I may not hit right now, but they were repeated in the public hearing. And so that was another thing that, the public hearing that was ran as a reminder by DNR itself, not by the county, at the request of the public. Some of the common comments that we received were related to the portable restrooms. There were some comments related to eagle's nest, endangered species. We have been in coordination with DNR on every one of those pieces of it. One of the things that I think that kind of goes in and bleeds into the permitting bullet point that I was going to talk through is the DNR. They will issue deficiency notices, and that's can be a very negative tone type comment or letter that you would receive. That is basically stating that we are coordinating with them, especially whenever it comes to a design build, such as a build, operate, transfer project. And a standard project, a design bid build, which would be that you design it, you go through all the permitting, you bid it out, contractor takes it, and then they go forward. Well, with this one, the design is happening with the contractor and the client, the county parks group, the parks board. And so it's iterative, and therefore we're coordinating regularly with the permitting agencies, making sure that they know that, hey, we're considering doing construction in a floodway. And here's our preliminary plans. What are your preliminary comments for us to make sure that we're addressing them all? And one of those was the portable restrooms. Knowing that we still needed to make a decision on that and work with the Parks Board, we do know that there are different options, and they even state that they gave us approximately 4 options as part of the deficiency letter, and that one of the options is, do you build a full restroom? And it's sealed, as we talked about last time. Jess had mentioned you have to seal it, you have to make sure that it's not leaching, things of that nature. Or there's the situation that we can set up a maintenance plan. And the maintenance plan could be that in flooding events, there's a rain gauge and a river gauge that is 2 to 3 miles upstream of this location that can be monitored, and we can use that as a trigger and set things in place to say that it will be removed and out of the floodway. It can still be on site, out of the floodway, but still, no concerns. And that would absolutely appease and meet every requirement of DNR's request. And so those are some of the things that we will be working as we move forward with this. We'll be working with the Parks Board and whomever you deem as your liaison to make those decisions and move forward. And then there were some other endangered species comments or questions about, mussels and snails. And essentially DNR, they have a database, and that database it's called IPAC. And it's a tool that they use, and they research all of that. And And what they have found is that there are not any um, negative impacts to the endangered species, which are mussels on site. And therefore, it's not anything that we need to do extra measures on. If there were, we would take those into account with our project. The contractor team would take steps to ensure that we are not um, impacting them in a negative way based off of what DNR's feedback is. And so, really, a lot of those questions were we are working through and addressing. I'm sorry, my notes turned off. And then as it kind of comes to the permitting side of things, I think that is one of the biggest things as part of a project whenever you're going through a design to make sure that you are in compliance with everything. We have met all of, and I want to stress that because through a traditional design bid build project, the permitting process would be going through the design before you went out to bid. We still went through that. We went through that with the county's standpoint of the TRC, the BZA, the county surveyor, the drainage board, IDNR, U.S. Army Corps. So we have met all of those requirements and are continuing to move forward. And there have not been any red flags that have been raised to make us concerned that we are out of compliance or would be considered a concern for us that we need to pivot or change direction on the project. As it comes to construction, I think one of the items on the agenda is a financial update. We're getting very close to getting a financial update. And what I mean is that as I was talking about the iterative process, we got 90% plans to the Avenue contractor team approximately 2 weeks ago. And essentially, they are reviewing those plans. They are updating. They are getting bids from their contractor, their subcontractors. They're going through that process. At this time, we don't have actual numbers yet, but by the time we come to the next board meeting, we can discuss where things are landing and talk through that with you guys. If there are some questions
Yeah,
related to that.
if I can add, Craig Parks with Avenue, how the process works, we had some base items that were included in our contract that bare bones, this is what's going to be included in the contract. And then there's all these other, we call them amenities or additions that we can add in as we get the base cost figured out. So we have two construction partners in E&B Paving and Scenic Construction. They're sharpening their pencils, putting the numbers based on the 9% plans, and then we'll be continuing to work with Jason and the park board's liaison as we work through what does the base bid, where is it coming out. We're hoping to get that soon, but then over the next month get a lot more understanding of the overall cost of what has the 90% plans were, and what the levels of.
So we could
input,
expect
yeah.
a relatively substantial financial update
Yeah.
next month, next
Yeah.
board meeting. Okay. But as far, I guess, just to ask the question generally, we feel pretty on track. Everything's feeling all right so far. I mean, just to put
Yeah, I
it
mean, as
loosely.
far as on track for all the base items, there's
Yeah.
the 9% plans even has items that where we'd like to. We're going to see how much we can fit into the basket.
And that's
that
sort of
will
this
be-
whole
that's sort of the
iterative,
whole-
collaborative.
That's
process
collaborative
that we're working
design
with.
build as you work through that. It is that iterative process of, okay, this is what we'd like, and then what can the contractor say as we continue to then hone our contractors too and say, okay, let's see. But as we went through the design process or Jason's team did, even understanding that when initially you don't understand how large of a detention area is necessary, right? So then how much excavation. So now that we have that information, contracting partners will be able to do that. And yeah, so we're in pretty good position, I think, to be able to sit down here soon and be able to talk about that. Basically breaking things out into the two independent
Categories.
parts.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and really, I mean, that's the biggest update I focused a lot on the permitting and the public hearing because those were where the majority of the public comments were focused on. And it's very normal for us to have those types of concerns, and it's okay. Those are great questions.
What we're here for.
Yeah. And so, really, when it comes to next steps, we really need to regroup with you guys based on the changes and find it now that they're getting the avenues, getting some of the numbers pulled together, see where we land. And then that way we can come better prepared for the next meeting to give an update. But I'm happy to answer any of your questions.
Do you have any questions in this moment?
I guess I would like to know what has been spent, what Avenue has spent, to whom they paid it, what amount, and what's left. Those would be some numbers that I think we're entitled to.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I don't have those numbers. We have, because, and I hate to say this, but as with the changes, there was conversation coordination that we are still trying to get information on, and then we're going to have to lean on Ben and the board to provide us additional information related to the communications. But next meeting, we will be able to provide a significantly better update when it comes to the financials.
So the changes you're talking about would be like shortening the boat ramp. And then
Changes-
what other,
Changes I'm referring to is more about Jessica not being here and the coordination internal within the county itself
okay.
that we were not privy to at the time, which is very normal and standard, right?
Well, I thought you were referring to changes in the plans for the
No,
construction and,
No,
And-
we incorporated all of those into the 90% plans that Avenue and Craig's team has. So those will be, they're already working on those changes.
right, I just want to know how much Avenue got, how much they spent, who they spent it with, and what we got for that amount and what we have left. That's what I think the taxpayer has a right to know.
We can obviously dig into the details of our contract because the large lump sum that we've, agreed to basically purchase this park with, we made an initial payment. But, we, the Parks Board and the commissioners who are really spending the money, we still have most of the money to the degree that it hasn't all been paid yet. So yes, I think these are
So
all
is this
important
money in
discussions.
an interest-bearing account right now?
I can't tell
It's
you that
where the
information.
commissioners would be holding the ARPA funds.
So the commissioners have the money.
Yeah, they've given us the ability to,
They've allocated it.
they've allocated it towards this project, but in the time that we made our initial investment and at various points otherwise, we go to the commissioners to approve those expenditures.
So when
Is that
Avenue needs money, then you get it from the commissioners to
Right.
give to Avenue.
Right. That's how it's happened so far. Is that accurate?
That's the case, but I would need to talk to the doctor on that.
I mean, we've signed a contract.
Yeah.
So we've got this contract in place to build, operate, transfer. So until they transfer everything over to us, I don't think we have any expenses out right now. Am I correct?
Well, no, there's what we call milestone payments.
Okay.
Right? Initial payment, and then as we hit milestones within the construction of the project,
Sure.
then, and that's spelled out in the contract of the Parks Board, those milestone payments, how those would be then made to their team.
So we can have an update every time we hit a milestone.
Yeah, I mean, the milestones are, part of the build, operate, transfers, even, we put a lot of effort and cost up front, and then when we hit a milestone of a park being completed, then it's a payment for what was allocated in the contract, so.
And we, on the website, Carrie Ann has added a very, I would say, brief explanation of what a build, operate, transfer is, just to try to be better at explaining it. But if for some reason we need to elaborate on that, we're happy to walk through that a little bit more. And I think we've piecemealed it a little bit through our conversations and presentations that we've done. But I think Craig and I have both done BOTs, is what we refer to them. We've done enough of those that when even presenting them in a slideshow, that we have no problem trying to better educate the public and the board members on that at some
At what
point.
point would the transfer occur? What do we have to hit to affect a transfer?
The completion of the construction and acceptance by the county.
Okay.
I mean, then that is where I'll put it, I'll say one thing that is the beauty of the BOT from a client standpoint is that isn't, whenever you do a design bid build, the designers, while we want to say that we're awesome and we're great and we do everything perfect, the way we design things and assume construction methods, each contractor is different in how they build it. So they make assumptions, and some of that is, those assumptions have risk associated with them. This process that we're doing eliminates those risks or brings those risks to the forefront right out of the gate. So they're identified, and then therefore the owner is less risk in paying that to the contractor. So that's the beauty of the BOT. So as part of that is that at the end of the project, the county will inspect, make sure that everything was hit that was required. And then it will be, okay, there'll be some formal documentation, and then it'll be like a bill of sale, formality, things of that nature that happen. That when I say a bill of sale, it's, you've already paid for it, so essentially, but it's
So there would be no cost
Ultimately-
involved in transferring.
Ultimately, part of the the contract, we then transfer a developed park over to you by quitclaim deed.
Okay.
Because we purchase the properties, we go through all the process, do all the surveys, everything, and then at the end, we provide a developed park to the county.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other specifics?
unless you have any other questions, happy to answer them. Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. We've scratched the Thriving Communities update for now. Upcoming meetings, I think that in this moment, we intend to maintain our public meeting.
I have a suggestion.
Okay.
The next scheduled meeting is the day before Good Friday.
Oh, okay, yes.
And initially, the meetings were twice a month. I guess I make a motion that the next meeting be in 2 weeks on the 19th, and that it be at 6 PM so that people who are working can attend.
If the 19th isn't great for everybody, do we want to?
Well, I just
I
wanted to
do
get it
wanna
away
do
from
that
the
in-
Easter weekend because that, and then I would like it to be in the evening so people who work can attend.
You, all of the meetings
Yes.
to move that
What,
direction?
this next one in particular?
It's not up to me. I just want to make sure that if you do move it 2 weeks, we're still working with Avenue on the costs. I don't know if we'll have them by the 19th of March, if that's what you're referring to. Are you saying April 19th?
March.
19th, I think.
Yeah,
is-
we
And
would-
then not have the meeting on the 2nd, have this supplant the,
I can't do the 19th.
I'm
see
just
what the
asking that if
next
you want
date
us to give a better cost breakdown, we would need a little extra time to work with our contractor partners.
Historically, for holidays or when we've been close to holidays, historically, we've just moved it to the second Thursday of the month. We have maintained the noon schedule. I'm definitely open to the idea of some evening meetings for public engagement. That certainly feels very reasonable. I just want to be sure that we can land on a date that we're all comfortable
well, we have the
with
19th and
what
we have
can
the
do.
26th.
Yeah, I can't.
Would the 26th give you more time to formulate your
I-
financials?
The 26th, I would not be able to be there.
Well, we can talk and discuss and figure this out and announce to
Yeah, let's
everybody.
just
Yeah,
leave
we
the
can do
date
it with-
as it is.
I mean, obviously, all the open.
She has a
door-
motion though. so-
I have a motion that we
Yeah.
move the next meeting
Yeah.
to March 19th and not have the April 2nd meeting. That is my motion.
Do we have a second on that motion? No, I guess it'll drop off.
Okay?
I think that we can definitely coordinate and.
I like
post
the spirit of the thought. I think we just need to
Yeah.
figure out schedules and,
Okay.
and look at that and then,
All right.
and go. I do like having some evening meetings. I think that makes a lot of sense. So, we just need to figure out calendars, I think, at
Okay,
this
I
point.
understand.
So,
Okay, and I have one more
Okay.
motion. I would like to have Jessica Baston removed from the park board. I do not want her to be director, so my motion is that Jessica Baston be removed as director of the park board. Do I have a second anywhere?
well, I guess I'll look to Jeff on that. I don't know if by this change, because she's no longer in her position, if that's automatically has
It's
happened. or
not
not.
automatic. By state statute, this board has the sole jurisdiction to determine the director slash superintendent slash, called a lot of things, but unlike a city park board in which a mayor plays a big role in the director, the county park board itself selects its director. And
Okay.
so I don't think you're going to be hurting her feelings or
Right.
surprising her.
Right.
So I think the motion is well taken.
Yeah, I will second that motion. I just want to commend Jessica though for all that she's done to get us to this point. But certainly with her no longer in that role, it makes sense that she's no longer the executive director of the park board too. So I second that motion.
Okay. Motion and second on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments before we close here from the board?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Any public comment?
No, I don't think so. Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Thank
Okay.
you, everybody.
Thank you.
The meeting is closed.
Go ahead and have a motion to adjourn.
Oh, we need a motion to adjourn. I'm sorry, I did.
I'm asking not to adjourn. I put a person on the board
Okay.
as a county surveyor. I do like to have some questions, some answers. Goes back with Avenue. What money have you spent or what money have they spent? You spent 850,000 on property. Do you know about that? As a board, did you authorize that?
We authorized Avenue to pursue a project. So no, we are not privy to the specifics
Okay.
of the sale.
Whose money is it at this? I'm asking Ben I get a lot of calls. We've been down there. I put Patty on the board because she lives in that area.
Sure.
Okay. We're not been transparent enough. I haven't come to the meetings. I've listened. I'm a little concerned as a county official and a taxpayer now at this point. I'm not sure I agree where this board is going. And let me explain. Give me a second. You're letting them spend money on your behalf, but you do not know. And one day they're going to give you and say, here it is, and give it back to you in a quick deed. And how much money is going to be spent? I don't know if you operate a budget that way, but I sure don't operate a budget. They work for you. You should know every step they're doing and where we're at with this process. And you should know where the money's going. And you should know what a beginning balance is, and you should know what the end balance is. And during this process, this board's been here for how long now? A year and months?
3.
Okay, 3 years, and don't have an answer for that. I would have that the first thing. If you're going to run like a department, you need to know the financials part of it, and you need to know what's going on. So I would challenge these gentlemen next to me to get the answers in 3 weeks or the next meeting and start working that way and start questioning how you're spending this money. Again, as a person that puts one on the board, I could have put myself on this board. I would have asked those questions in the beginning. They need to be asked now. Those are tough questions because at the end of the day, you have to answer to the people that sit out in the audience. I'd have those answers because I'm sitting there and I didn't hear anything, and we're giving them a carte blanche check to do what they want to do, and I'm not for that. I think there needs to be checks and balances, and you're the checks and balance. Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.
I'll dig back. We have a
Well,
budget.
Well, yeah. Okay.
I have.
I
Yeah.
guess, yeah, we can take a public comment. That's fine.
I'm Michael Garinger. I'm in Adams Township, and I agree with our surveyor, Ken. That's a big dollar amount.
Right.
And that is something that you manage. If you have a living wage, that is one entire lifetime times 3 in financial monies. these individuals in the auditorium, the public here, do not look at it as a project that you hand to somebody on good faith. Okay? I recommend that you suggest putting a motion that they stop having that ability to use the money now.
Signed
And-
a contract.
Signed a
That's impossible.
contract,
And that's
yeah.
not what build, operate,
That's not
transfer
what that
means.
means.
Okay,
So-
well, I'm speaking as a citizen, okay? And that they could then, once they report their financials and where money's going and where it has been, and you're able to actually evaluate that situation, then they could start initiating more spending. Also, this is grant funded, right?
This is ARPA
ARPA
funding from the
funding.
county.
ARPA funding?
Yes.
Okay. And so and the terms of the ARPA funding, are there time constraints?
Very
Project
specific.
must be done
Very-
by a certain
yes,
time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay, and is that September?
Yeah.
Okay, and does that, does that grant, I'm calling it a grant, but does the opera fund provide a procedure for you to request time extensions in order to get your project
We're
done?
not anticipating that.
Okay, and then there's no ability really to preserve, is there an ability to preserve this current project? Considering that the time might be exhausted, because it has to be completed by September, correct?
That's a county deadline. The federal deadline with regard to the funds is December 31st.
And so, in